How did you get a high school bully to never mess with you again? Graduated. Well, I hit her with a brick, so that taught her a lesson not to fuck with me. I went too far. Challenged him to a fight at lunch, left during the period before lunch to move 800 miles away. Hid behind a corner and punched him in the stomach. He eventually became my best friend too, so go figure. Weirdly, became friendly with his dad. Who ripped him in front of me, mad one. A group of sociopaths from me school that always tormented us followed me and my friends to my house one day in a pickup truck. They stole my friend's shoes, pushed one of them until she fell, and took my sketch pad and threw it in a puddle. My stepbrother came outside, beat one of them badly, stole his pants, and threw his keys into a sewer grave before hitting him with an empty vodka bottle. It was traumatizing for me on both ends, but that group of kids never even looked at us again. Hit him. Don't do it fairly either. Load your book bag with loose rocks and clobber him from behind. I was a real psycho as a kid, so don't listen to me, but basically I made a reputation for myself as too bizarre to mess with, cause all my retaliation were either extremely violent or inappropriate, like sending people pictures of themselves doing mundane things or taking one piece of mail from their box a day. Vomited all over him. After that he never messed with me again. I told him that if he ever talked to me again I would stab him in the eye. I always punched my bullies square in the nose. Sure, they may kick my ass, but I was more than willing to dish some pain out while receiving it. After a few times, they went after targets that didn't fight back. They want easy control, and they're just as afraid of pain as you are. Every new school was another bully. Let one person walk on you and everyone will walk on you, either make boundaries or be a doormat. Don't be afraid of consequences, that's how bullies keep you in control, just start swinging. I think telling my 9th grade biology teacher to tell the bullies to stop worked. I was nice to them. Yeah, it worked. He used to yell at me and call me names, and one day I smiled at him. He's liked me ever since. Nothing a fist to the nose can't fix. Told him if he ever touched me again I was going to break his nose. He pushed me. Without hesitation I swung on my back leg off balance, caught him in the chin, we both went after each other and a friend of ours broke it up. 2 weeks later he was asking me to sign his yearbook and never bothered me again. Workout. He probably never expected the skinny kid to get jacked. I got fed up with it one day in the locker room, after being slapped. It made me so angry I busted the side of his head open with a combination lock. I didn't have any more problems out of anyone after that. Always stick up for yourself no matter what. I promise you will prevail. Got my black belt. Didn't have to do anything to him. He saw me practicing in the park and never bugged me again. Shit, I'm in my 30s and they still treat me like crap. Suppose that's family for you, winky face. He wasn't violent or anything, so I simply ignored him. He stopped after about 2 weeks. 2 options. Have evidence and report them to the principal/admin or beat the crap out of them. I got a guy expelled and sent to the continuation school and probably fucked up his life because he stole hundreds of dollars from me over a period of 2 years in middle school. Half my class beat the shit out of him. It's nice to have lots of friends sometimes. Fuck his GF, worked out for me lol. Through year 7-9 in secondary school I was beaten/ganged up on frequently because of my German connection, and the area I live in, London, was blitzed. Was told by my mother to take the hits and let the school sort it. School didn't sort it out. So she told me to let loose. I went CRA and broke some noses, one arm and fractured a few ankles. Stamping their ankles works every time. That was in one fight. I fractured my wrist, lost a tooth, got a few scarrings on my lips from hits. They left me alone at school from then on. But no. I wasn't finished. When outside of school, I saw a few on their own or with their family. I went in for the kill, so to speak. Needed to finish what I started. When in groups they think they are invincible. On their own they were scared little piglets. Idiots didn't think what could go down outside the school grounds where the school has no power. My best buddy, Sal, was a little guy that kept getting picked on. I was one of the biggest, strongest kids in my school. My other buddy, Roy, was also one of the biggest, strongest kids in the school. One day Roy and I waited outside a classroom for Sal and saw his bully picking on him. Roy and I had a conversation with that kid. The kid walked with a limp for a week and never even talked to Sal again. So, Sal just had big friends, but that worked for him. Hit him in the face with a water bottle. For some reason I couldn't stand up for myself, but he started bugging my friend. It was during after-school band practice, which my mom forced me into anyway. I already didn't want to be there. For some reason him teasing my friend just made me slug him full force in the face with said plastic water bottle. That got other students and the teacher involved. He didn't bug us again. Kicked him in the balls. I became conventionally attractive, I guess. The guys that used to bully me now want to date me and they have all lost their popularity. Karma is sweet. Moved to a different country. Played the crazy card. My cousin started his, edit the bully's, sister, and I guess he didn't like that. So he came after me. It escalated more and more to the point we nearly threw down in the middle of class one day, but the teacher stopped us. She made me stay after class and talked me down, saying she knew he instigated it and I wasn't the problem, but she couldn't have this exploding in her class again. Which I felt was fair of her. A couple days later, as I was getting stuff at my locker, he was standing behind me when I turned around and slapped my books out of my hand and said, "Let's go." I rolled my eyes at him, held up a finger and said, "Just a second." I then turned around and started hitting my head against my locker. The great thing about an empty steel locker is that you don't have to hit it very hard for it to make a big sound. So while I was really not hitting it that hard, to him, it looked and sounded like I was just wailing on it. After a few of those, I spun around and screamed at him to come at me. His eyes went wide and he just backed away slowly in front of everyone in the hallway. And never messed with me again. I was the only goth/metal chick in a backwater village where the last bus left at 20:00 p.m. So you can imagine all the Satanist bullshit I had to put up with. I also went with the crazy card. I was carrying a pocket knife with me all the time. I cut myself with it, couldn't bear the thought of someone touching it, and then this one time I was walking down the hallway and I heard that little shit yelling Satan behind me. So quick as lightning I turned around, grabbed him and was pressing my pocket knife against his neck, hissing that I'll fucking cut him if he doesn't shut up. He did. Then the other dude kept bullying me and after school I decided to approach him and ask him to stop. He kept threatening to punch me. In the end he did and I just saw red. I kicked his knee and pretty much just buried my nails in his neck. They had to pry me off him, dig out every nail slowly till I let go. Dude came home looking like a grater was applied to his neck. Nobody wanted to mess with Crazy after those incidents. Curb stomped him at a Del Taco in front of his jock friends. Made friends in the football team. Bullies think twice when you are buddies with a 6 feet 2 inches 250-pound Samoan. Crazy how nice so many Samoans are. I started bullying the bullies. Only the bullies though. In this case, 2 wrongs did make a right. I bullied myself. Ha. Beat that, smiley face. I didn't get bullied, you nerd, LMAO. A swift punch to the gut that left him breathless on the ground, and just walk away saying I can do more next time. Headbutt, broke his nose. Got expelled today, but I'm really happy I did. I don't remember him bullying anyone else after this, smiley face. Dropped out. Checkmate, bully. Sometimes you just have to act crazy and stand up for yourself. No fear. I finally laughed when they made fun of me. Pissed them off. Got really fluent with sarcasm too. Never really had a dedicated bully since everyone assumed I was a school shooter. Their basis for this was because I was impoverished and loved telling stories of my home antics to see people's reactions. Nonetheless, I just went about life pushing past the glares and assumptions. Some of the worst people I had to deal with were also the preppy upper middle class. They talked a lot about becoming something after high school or having grand ideas for their future, but 3 years later and they bag my groceries and live with their parents. Meanwhile, I've been living on my own and currently on track towards the Marines. My advice: use spite to fuel you. Be someone who reached their dreams. Be what they wish they were. Punched him in the face, twice. Started rugby in grade 10. Stood up to him in grade 11 and he got mad and he tried to kick me. I was almost 6 foot by then but always tall and weak. Well, training for rugby sort of fixed that a little, so when he kicked me I caught his foot and I let it go. It was above my head. He fell backwards and landed on the back of his head. He never talked to me again. Broke 3 of his fingers by crushing them in my hand. Well, first I grew several inches and put on 35 pounds of muscle. Next time he gave me shit, I challenged him to a fight after school. He didn't show, and never bothered me again. Probably a good thing, he was still bigger than me.